the Canadian Grand Prix. The Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, named after, well, leave you to work it out, is a very much loved track on the Formula 1 calendar. First used back in 1978, it's seen a fair amount of cars in different eras of the sport circle the tight roads. Just like the Australian Grand Prix circuit Albert Park in Melbourne, the track is open to the public, for example cyclists and walkers, which seems to be a nice experience, despite this done thinking is a bit dusty. It also involves a fair amount of building to get it ready for the Grand Prix, like all the sponsorship on the walls, and getting the track and curbs ready, etc. Unfortunately, due to the coronavirus, the Canadian Grand Prix 2020 was cancelled, and now also the 2021. Now this news is a couple of weeks old, but it doesn't change the matter whatsoever. But fortunately, it is being replaced by Turkey, which is certainly a fan favourite. Pretty decent race last year, although, you know, we haven't seen it in dry conditions for a very long time, especially in modern cars, so who knows what it will be like. This also means it would have been 3 years since the last Canadian Grand Prix by the time we're there next year, fingers crossed. And that 2019 Canadian Grand Prix didn't exactly end how people wanted it to. In summary, without delving too deeply, Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton were battling for the lead of the race when Vettel got a big snap of oversteer from his SF90, went into the grass, which wouldn't let him slow down due to the lack of grip, caused him to run across the track and a near collision with Sir Lewis. Now, in my opinion, I doubt there was much Vettel could have done in this situation, but the FIA decided to slap a race and possibly championship defining 5-second penalty onto the German's name, costing him the win, which he wasn't overly happy with. Onto the track itself now. Well, it's 4.3 kilometers long, with roughly 76% of it flat out, at least for those who want to keep the front wings intact, where they hit a maximum speed of 315 km an hour on the back straight. As for the race concerning numbers, the journey into turn 1 is only 159 metres away from pole position, a similar distance to Monaco, but, you know, thankfully there's a fair bit more overtaking. Pole starts on the left hand side, meaning they have the inside for turn 1, but they're going to have to sacrifice the room on the outside if P2 is significantly alongside and needs to take the outside line. The race lasts 70 laps, which is quite a lot more than you'll see at other circuits, since the lap times are around 1 minute 10 to 1 minute 15. And 70 laps is a fair opportunity to go and hit the wall of champions. Overtaking is definitely possible here thanks to DRS and the general awesome nature of the track, with Daniel Verstappen, Perez and both of the houseboys having a good go. Locking up into one of the hardest braking zones on the calendar will also cost you a lot of time, as you'll have to get the car rotated whilst already deep, so it's not an easy course on the limit to say the least. Anyhow, if we dive into the lap of the circuit, it's a short run into turn 1, swiftly cutting back for turn 2, careful on the throttle uphill, into the right-left chicane of 3 and 4. You want to get super close to the walls to eke out those milliseconds. Another chicane, this time left-right. With another super tricky exit, we've got to keep the steering lock on and be really careful on the throttle once again. First full DRS zone of the lap, and it's brake at the shadow for this chicane. I know, shadow, the move, but you know. Once again maximising the gap on the right hand side and late braking into the hairpin. Crucial to get a good exit here for the next DRS straight of the lap, and into the final chicane, pretty good overtaking spot, careful not to hit the wall of champions, and DRS for the final time. Now that's a lap of the Canadian Grand Prix. Vettel did secure pole on the onboard lap, and overall, over the years, it's been a great race. It goes without saying that it's a shame we're missing this race this year, but 2022 is going to be a big one. All the hype is there after not having had the race for 3 whole years. Let me know your predictions for Azerbaijan down below, if that hasn't happened already. Anyhow, thank you very much for watching, and check out these videos if you haven't already. I'll catch you in the next video.